back to the channel. I'd like to welcome back John with his beautiful 2020 black Supra. If you guys are wondering what's done to this car, why John decided to go this route, all the good details, check out his first video. The link is in the description box below. Really good insight on John's kind of route to get to where he is, because he's had a very interesting ownership history, not just for this car. So if you guys happen to find yourself in that same situation, here's your man, and he can talk strictly from experience. But John, if you want to reintroduce yourself for our viewers.
Yeah, thanks for having me back. Excited to be doing another video here with some updates and future plans. Not a whole lot has changed, but some stuff in the works, some stuff that I have kind of waiting to go in, and then the big thing, the big tune update that happened in early August was the real big thing that's made a huge difference. So not a lot, but some very big things coming and that have happened since the last video.
Yeah, for sure. Let's go over just like the simple stuff that you've changed throughout this car. So what I do notice, and you guys probably noticed this if you viewed the last video, is John's got a new hood on here. So who'd you get this from?
So I got it through Blacklist Motorsports. Check them out. They've got a ton of stuff for a bunch of different platforms, hoods, some Sabon stuff. They got lips, rear diffusers, side skirts. A lot of times, a lot of the stuff that's not in stock or you are back ordered everywhere else, they have it, or they have a few in stock if you message them. So shout out to them. I got this hood in probably less than a week, and this is it's a rep of the Veris style carbon fiber hood, and it's about a third of the price of the real one. So
it's huge price difference.
Yeah, so huge. It's a good deal. Gives a good ventilation. Looks sick. So yeah, if you're interested in something like this or something similar, give them a shout on Instagram. That's where I got in touch with them.
I'll put their social media in the description box below and on the screen as well. So shout out to Blacklist Motorsports. Usually with reps, and you probably already know this, everyone's kind of like, the fitment's not going to be as good. But honestly, from my observation, like, fitment looks amazing. Like, how much work did you have to put in to make it fit really nice?
It took a lot of work. Me and Brian over at Applied Torque Solutions, shout out to him. We went out it for probably 3 hours or so and got it relatively close, and then took me probably just tinkering around in my garage by myself for another 2-3 hours to get it as close as I could, which for, you know, a carbon fiber hood and carbon fiber body pieces are notoriously difficult to get fitment pretty dialed, let alone it being like a rep hood. But I think I got it about as close as I could, and I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I mean, because usually for like the fender side where like the hood overlaps the fender, like the gaps is like, it's literally like stock. So other than that, I mean, from what I can tell, it's that was the only thing. I know from the last video you're talking about maybe getting a built motor, so I think you have an update related to that.
Yeah, I did get a built motor. I've acquired one. It's not in the car yet.
Well, I mean, let's go over just like the big piece of the video, the tuning process. I know you have like a lot of insight. For me, like, I've always been tuned by Botti with a lot of my cars, so I wanted to get someone on the same platform who has a different perspective. So if you guys are in the same boat, you're trying to figure out like what tuner to go with, John is the perfect person to ask with his build and with the quality of parts that he's put in, because you guys can throw all the money that you want in this platform or any platform for that matter. But I mean, if your tune isn't up to the standard, then a lot of the power and a lot of the money that you dumped in, it's essentially going to waste. So let's go ahead and pop the hood so you guys can see the engine bay again, and we'll discuss the tuning process that John went through. All right, now we have the hood popped for you guys so you guys can see the glorious B58. But yeah, John, let's discuss like kind of like the tuning process that you went with, why you decided to go the route that you did, and then just, I mean, your overall thoughts with how the car drives.
Yeah, so I went the pretty basic standard route for tuning with this platform. 93 to flex fuel E40 all stock turbo. I kind of skipped over the pure 800 step and went straight to top mount, but You can kind of do either or, you don't have to do both. I kind of went that path. And then the tune, so right now I'm tuned by Botti. I wasn't in the previous video. I think in the last video, the big thing that I said was buy nice, not twice. That's true for not only tuners, but if you're not going to be doing the work yourself as far as install and everything, make sure you're shopping the correct shops to do all that for you as well. Basically, long story short, the tune, there's nothing wrong with the tune in the sense of it was dangerous or anything like that, but it was lacking the potential that the car should have been seeing. And that's just basically from somebody like Botti, who tunes these cars, hundreds of these cars by now, I'm sure, if not thousands. Just the experience and kind of knowing how to manipulate things in such a way that you can get every little ounce out of every little thing, as opposed to maybe taking an easier route, going with somewhere that's local to you, but maybe not as well known or have the experience that some of these guys like Botti or Payne have with tuning this platform. The experience that the big name tuners have, you know, it's not just a gimmick, it's 100%. They can squeeze every little ounce of power out of this car that somebody else might not be able to, that doesn't have the experience. My map 4, so I had 4 maps on the previous tune, which was my high boost map, is probably around the same, or feels around the same as my low boost map right now from Botti. So
I know you told me that through text, but
yeah.
like it's just surprising.
It's made a world of difference. The car is absolutely insanely fast right now, but it didn't come without, I had my issues on the tune day with Botti, as did a lot of the Supra guys. But again, that comes down to, if you're gonna get any work done from a shop, you know, make sure that it's a shop that is going to take care and take the extra step, not cut any corners, because I had some wiring issues with my reflex that controls the fueling, the port injection, the low pressure fuel pump. It communicates all that with the ECU. And my wiring was a little messed up. Some auxiliary plugs were swapped, and it caused some issues when we went to go tune it with Botti. So luckily it's taken care of now. Again, it just comes down to buy nice, not twice. Not only with tuners, but shops, parts, everything. You'll save money in the long run, but
Save a lot of time too.
and save a lot of peace of mind too, because all it takes is one little thing to not be right for long enough, and you could have issues more widespread as time goes on. So
Yeah, because whenever you got tuned, you did get like your numbers and everything that day, right?
yes.
Do you want to tell the viewers how this?
Yeah.
So for you guys that don't know, I know I've been featuring a lot of 6870 turbo cars. John's car is actually a 6466. Amazing, amazing drivability. But how much power did you put down?
In the absolute hellacious conditions that we all got tuned in.
Dude, that shit was fucking hot.
I think Botti said they were the worst conditions he's ever tuned a car in. It was probably about 115, 100 to 117 degrees in the shop, and like, I don't know, 4,000 plus density altitude. It was bad. 2 maps right now, waiting on a 3rd map for when the motor goes in, the kill map. My number 2 map made 780 at 37 PSI.
that fucking moves.
So in good weather, who knows? That's the numbers it made that day.
Just imagine how much it makes like this. So for you guys, obviously you guys aren't here, but it's like 85, I think like 85 degrees,
Something like that.
84,
Yeah.
85 degrees. So it will make more right now.
It should, theoretically, but yeah, those are the numbers I have from that day on the dyno. So that's whether it makes 820, 830 right now in nice weather, or, you know, I go 780 is the number I got. So that's kind of what I'm sticking with right now. But
How's the drivability like? Because I know like 64, 66 is like that perfect like street car turbo where you're not like, how would I say this? You're not maxing out the turbo, generating like so much heat that you're just reducing the efficiency of it.
right.
So how would you say the drivability is?
So I drive this car to work once or twice a week, 25, 30 minutes one way. And I mean, it drives like stock. If I'm just driving down the highway, I mean, there's no difference from when I first got the car, other than it sounds a little different now.
Just a tad bit different.
If you're just driving it like you normally would drive a car, it'll drive like that. And then, you know, if you get on it, that's when, you know, you notice the difference. But just normal highway cruising and driving, it's no different than when I first got the car,
Yeah.
which is insane to think about, and it's really awesome that you're able to build a car to this power level, but also keep comfortability and drivability when you're just when you don't want the power.
I know you kind of sprinkled it as you were kind of like explaining your experience and thought process, going with someone more known, someone more experienced with this, but what words of advice in general would you give the viewers who are trying to figure out what tuner to go with?
The biggest thing is don't take any shortcuts. Just because something's easier, like having somebody local that you can drive the car to, get it tuned, and drive it home that day, isn't necessarily better for not only the car, but you in the long run, as opposed to, maybe you're not too keen on doing the e-tuning thing with some of the big name tuners that are out of state of you. But again, it's just you're taking a risk when you go against the grain as far as tuning and going against what has been proven with not only parts, but the tuning process, the installs, if you're not doing any of it yourself. It may be more work to get it done, like I said, with doing the e-tuning thing, but at the end of the day, once you do that, you're going to be in good hands, as opposed to, maybe you are, maybe you aren't, maybe it'll last, maybe it won't. So
For you guys who have done more research than a lot of the others when it comes to the tuners, no tuner is perfect. So it doesn't matter what the name is. Obviously, like for me, I'm gonna be a little biased towards Botti, but with a platform like this, shit's bound to go wrong. Like, especially when a new platform comes out and the tuners are learning. It's the early adopter dilemma. For you guys that don't know that, what that means, basically, if things are new, obviously a lot of the variables are still unknown, and it's going to take a lot of trial and error to get to the point where things are safe and reliable. So whenever Mikey was tuning your car that day, did you communicate over to him kind of like what your goal with the car was, or
yeah,
how
so
did you approach that?
yeah, so basically, I had met him for the first time, obviously, when he flew down here, because I hadn't been tuned by him previously. But yeah, we talked about the car, we talked about what's done to it, kind of what my plan was. I had already purchased the built short block already before then. We just didn't have time to get it in before he got here. But he knew that that was coming, so he gave me the option, basically. He was very accommodating to where we did the two maps, the 37 PSI map for the second map. He said, hey, we can bump it up, push 42, 43 PSI in preparation for you getting the motor now. The IATs were so high from just the conditions that he was tuning in. And he basically said, he's like, I'm absolutely punishing the car right now. If you want to do it, it's up to you. But he basically recommended we stop, and I said, I agree. So he was very straightforward with communicating where the car was at, what he was seeing, helping me diagnose the issues that we were having with the reflex while it was on the dyno when he initially tried tuning it. But yeah, overall, really knowledgeable. Any questions that I had afterwards, after he already left, just about some things that I had noticed that were a little different for the better, I just asked him about it via email, and he got back to me almost instantly. Really, really happy with not only the tune from him, which has been incredible, but the whole process, the communication, everything, which is really difficult when you're as busy as he is, because he's an extremely busy dude. Just him going out of his way to, answer some trivial questions I had about random parameters and stuff, and I thought was really cool. So really, really happy overall with Botti and that whole experience.
Yeah, shout out to Botti. Shout out Mikey if you're watching this video.
Congrats on Texas 2K.
Oh yeah, for sure. Breaking records. So for Botti, for context, if he's busy prepping for like races or events, obviously he's gonna be busy focusing on that. A lot of the other tuners are like that as well, paint included. So definitely keep that in mind. Don't be one of those guys that bombards your tuner with like 10 emails. Just imagine if you're the tuner and there's 100 other people bombarding you with 10 emails, you got 1,000 emails in your inbox over the same shit. But John, I appreciate you walking us through your experience. just with the tuning process and kind of why you should be more mindful. You know, definitely do your research. Yeah, don't take any shortcuts. So yeah, give John a follow on Instagram. His Instagram is on the screen. If you guys are curious, just with the build again, check out the first video that we did on this car. You know what people love about your car is the sound, dude. So
I'm really happy with the sound of it. There's so many options with this platform, and there's so many variations and combinations you can do, but I'm really happy with the whole ETS from front to back. I'm really happy with the sound.
all right, let's insert some sound clips here so you guys can enjoy the end of the video with that. But yeah, like, subscribe, give John a follow, see where this build goes, especially once he gets the build motor in. That'll be exciting. We'll definitely have to do a follow-up video on that.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
get your earphones on and let's hear this baby roar.